Welcome to the Master of None channel. I'm Coleman Brady, and I'd like to elaborate a bit on the objective of this channel, if there is one. That is to curiously explore concepts. I'm not exactly even attempting to figure things out. I'm attempting to recall the root reason, to try to understand, if only to be swatted down by the next innumerable absurdity, and to be okay with perpetual trial and tribulation. I'm trying to generate further curiosity and wonder, to regenerate the childlike tendency of a reconsideration of the world we inhabit that is too often rendered docile in financial pursuits and community impacting. What are communities but groups of individuals? And if we lose the individual, I believe that's a huge mistake. When did it become the overarching goal of grown sophisticated minds, that is to say adults, to primarily pursue the modeling and ability to control physical systems in order to create technologies and stability of lifestyle at the expense of the curiosity impulse that enhances imagination, which is the regenerative element of the will to discover? We want to discover things because they are not yet completely understood. When we figure out most of an aspect of reality, we simply discover the next area we are still infants in. It is, of course, useful to be an expert in a discipline, but the overspecialization of the many and the lack of enough generalistic thinking, i.e. philosophy, and a broad wheelhouse of ideas in enough people and such, pigeonholes the minds of many and creates certain breakdowns in a civilization, I would think. Perhaps there is a built-in trickster-like aspect of reality and existence. Think quantum superposition and potential higher dimensional aspects, so to speak. Encountering the unknown in ourselves and our surroundings is likely a perpetual occurrence, and while we should endeavor to achieve supremacy over physics and reality, we must consider that it may not be possible, that reality seeks to subvert our understanding such that madmen and control freaks cannot access the fundamental generative forces of creation. Because that would be bad, perhaps. As we have seen since Prometheus and the advent of nuclear physics, mankind has not always wore its knowledge over physics with appropriate moderation. So while I do encourage the steadfast and tireless efforts and breakthroughs science achieves, I do think it possible and likely that it is a means to an end. That end being that we simply remind ourselves that we may overcome any challenge, if only to be beset by a new one. Such is the nature of the human experience as I've observed. I, of course, may be foolishly mistaken. Seeking the approval of others is imperative for organized, compassionate societies based on peer review and such, and mutual respect. It is also the root of groupthink mentalities that threaten to eliminate true creative expression and the generation of the most important questions. It must be re-engendered into our modern world, the will to be stupefied and awed. It must not be seen as silly to ask why, how, etc., even when these questions do not entail a direct discovery of a fundamental aspect of a system to be exploited for profit. Money must be reevaluated for what it's even based upon, the good faith of conscientious individuals to cooperate, or backed by gold that is diluted, or where is that gold again? Think the Fort Knox mystery, lack of audits. Or by military dominion, and thus a misconceived sense of physical security, even though physical death will eventually claim us all anyways. And it's not like our military for sure can protect us from asteroidal bombardment yet, that we are sure of, I suppose. I propose that I, myself, and others use our time to attempt to be as useful as we can, but to admit the inherent absurdity of mastery, as mastery, even if temporarily achieved, often becomes stale and boring. Perhaps this is the beauty of forgetting and death, an opportunity for new things and new experience, even if there is nothing new under the sun. It is new in the experience of beings that are not omniscient. I don't think the point is actually to know everything. Sincerely, the Master of None.